Hello.
Hi.
So the nurse says that you have a little problem with your finger. Want to tell me about that?
Yeah, so I broke it while doing color guard a few weeks ago, and it had a lot of swelling and bruising. But lately I've noticed it's been turning blue, so yeah, that's why I came in.
Wait, let me see that. But it's not blue though.
Well, yeah, it's been like throughout the day. It's not blue right now, but while I was driving here.
Well, actually, if you look at this X-ray right here, it says it looks exactly the same as the one that we took like a year ago.
But the one last year, my finger was broken.
The person who did it must have read it wrong.
But you were the one who read it last year.
Well, you're gonna have to keep me updated on that one.
Honestly, making a trip to the doctor's office on my own was one of the most terrifying things I've ever had to do. And my experience at the ER did not make it any easier. Turns out our entire society has an ingrained fear of the healthcare profession. It comes from many generations ago. According to Mark Hannigan, author of Health Professionals and Trust, The Cure for Law and Healthcare Policy, he mentions that, quote, the perception that we, healthcare professionals, may be playing God by delving into the essence of our DNA has created the potential for distrust between healthcare researchers and communities. Playing God usually means having too much power for our own good. It even indicates the inevitable abuse of power. The communities that Hannigan references were heavily religious as well at the time, and distrusted science and those involved in it. However, that's not the only reason for distrust. Research has shown that healthcare has repeatedly failed and abused many groups, especially marginalized groups. For example, a 2018 study found through a survey that doctors described men with chronic pain as brave, while they described women as hysterical and emotional. These doctors were also less likely to believe women about their pain. Surprise, surprise, there has also been a long history of racism in healthcare as well. According to this 2014 study, another survey around the nation found doctors favored having white patients over black. They also claimed that white patients were more cooperative than black patients were. The study is relatively recent compared to the long history of abusing black patients for healthcare gain. I've learned a lot since coming to college. I mean, we all have. And one of the first things we learned here is how to succeed as a student. Remember Success at Iowa in the beginning of the year? I'm sure we all paid attention to that. It taught us how to be a successful student with just 3 easy steps. If only it were that easy. 1. Go to class. 2. Do the readings before class. And 3. Take good notes. Though I'm certainly not a healthcare professional, I am a student who is on the pre-med track and has grown up with a doctor in her family. Even then, I know how confusing and nerve-wracking it is to go to the doctor's office alone, especially as a young student. Therefore, instead of Success at Iowa, let me introduce you to this video, which is Success at the doctor's office. Okay, so here's the first step, going to the doctor's office. When you get there, they're going to ask you a lot of questions, like your name, your birthday, your health history, your health insurance, your social security number even, and more. The second step for success at the doctor's office is to prepare before going. According to a New York Times article that talks about medical gaslighting, we should all come to our appointments with a list of our concerns written down. This way we can be more efficient in portraying why we came to the doctor's office, since most doctor's visits last only about 18 minutes on average. This is similar to going to office hours with your questions beforehand, or going to a restaurant having already looked at the menu. Other steps before going to the doctor include realizing that you have options and that you have the right to ask about them. 2. Communicating a plan with your provider beforehand. And 3. Doing your own research. There is a lot of controversy surrounding doing your own research and conditions. In fact, many doctors find it upsetting that patients come with a condition already in mind, whereas a patient themselves can argue that they themselves know what they're feeling inside their body.
Choose your fighter. First we have Dr. Payne, who has studied for 8+ years in the medical field. The patient, who knows what is wrong with their own body.
because it's delicious.
Let's see what our peers have self-diagnosed themselves with. I say that research is very important to conduct. However, patients should research their symptoms more than getting attached to a single condition, because doing so makes it hard for doctors and patients to work together to come to a diagnosis and treatment plan.
That's enough yik yak for today.
Remember when we read The Other Side is Not Dumb earlier this year? Both sides at the doctor's office need to be open to each other's ideas. Think of it this way. When you go into a doctor's office having already self-diagnosed, it's kind of like that Britney Spears clip video.
Do you want me to tell you your future?
No thanks. I choose my own destiny.
Hi, welcome to Subway. What can I get you?
No thanks. I make my own sandwiches. According to Dr. Usha Chatlani, another problem with self-diagnosing is that it can actually narrow down the doctor's mindset too much, since they're focused on the specific condition the patient mentions. Instead of asking broad to narrow questions, they'll already be asking specific ones. This can lead to misdiagnoses and also, in extreme cases, the use of wrong medications and addiction. This leads us to the book Drug Dealer MD. In the book Drug Dealer MD by Anna Lembke, a major trust gap between patients and their doctors comes from patients lying to doctors. Make sure you're as open and truthful as possible. I know it can be scary being vulnerable to doctors, especially when you're not sure if they can actually help, but doing so will be better for both of you. During your visit, remember that you have the right to ask when you don't understand. Just like a lecture class, it's recommended to take literal notes during your time with your doctor. This way, you can study after too. Make sure to write down any potential options, concerns, and questions that you want to ask. So I'm at the doctor's office. I have the notes app open, it was open, with all of my concerns, and I talked about all of them with the nurse, so she just went to go get the doctor. On Immunity, an inoculation written by Eula Biss also addresses another concern about how the media can cause major distrust in medical science. If you have any concerns, it's best to ask your doctor directly. For example, if you're worried a vaccine might cause harm to you or someone you love because of what you've heard from the media, ask your doctor specifically. You can and even should get a second opinion if you feel you need the extra confirmation. This goes for all situations, not just vaccines, of course. And sometimes you can do everything right and it still doesn't work out. In that case, just know that you have options and that you can get a new doctor if you so choose. If you're considering that you might need a new provider but you're just not quite sure yet, let's analyze the video from earlier for red flags that you should keep an eye out for. The first red flag is that the doctor is wearing a comfy.
Hi. So the nurse says that you have a little problem with your finger. Want to tell me about that?
Yeah, so I broke it while doing color guard a few weeks ago, and it had a lot of swelling and bruising, but lately I've noticed it's been turning blue, so yeah, that's why I came in.
Wait, let me see that. But it's not blue though.
Well, yeah, it's been like throughout the day. It's not blue right now, but while I was driving here.
Well, actually, if you look at this X-ray right here, it says it looks exactly the same as the one that we took a year ago.
But the one last year, my finger was broken.
The person who did it must have read it wrong.
But you were the one who read it last year.
Well, you're gonna have to keep me updated on that one.
Here's a picture of me actually at the doctor's office yesterday. I applied all of the advice from this video and I can say it worked. I hope that you guys can apply what you've learned too. Thanks for watching.